Thanks for the thumbnail, by the way. It looks very nice, so thanks for making it. It's very nice. Hello everyone and welcome then to the start of qualifying for round 1 of season 9 of FLR at Circuit Barcelona Catalunya. It's good to be back, good to see a mix of old and new faces, a lot of new faces, quite a lot of new faces this year actually, so welcome. If you are one of those new faces, my name is Well Anyway, and I'm not a native speaker, so you're gonna have to forgive me for that. Sometimes still getting around to commentating as well after taking like 2.5 years of break from that. But anyway, here we are at the circuit. Obviously, it's known in real life for hosting testing a lot. It's because it has everything. It has high-speed sections, low-speed sections, medium-speed sections. It has a pretty long straight. Well, in the context of some straight that exists on the calendar, it's not as long, but it's long enough for Slipstream to kick in with DRS. Spain also making... Hello Ben, good evening mate, good luck for the race. Spain also making a name for itself as delivering consistently good racing. Not anything exceptional, but usually does give good racing, or at least it used to on previous games. This game, I haven't done any league races myself on it, but from what I've seen, it doesn't exactly have exciting racing. It's very hard to pass, purely because of the wash that you get from the dirty air as you come out of the last corner. Hello Ian, good evening mate, and also happy birthday. Hope you've had a good day and hope you have a good race tonight as well. Anyway, I'm gonna enable the track map so we can see what's happening, and we have someone on a lap already, and that is Chichi, so he's gonna take that honor of being the first person to actually go on a timed lap during this season basically. We're gonna take it chill at first, not gonna enable the telemetry for now. We're just gonna see as he makes his way around. Not running the special pink Visa livery, which is a shame, but I'm sure we can count on Rapid to show us that beautiful livery as we saw from him in the preseason. Also, I must say, before the first time lap is even finished, it's very nice to see a full grid. I mean, the attendance wasn't, well, let's just put it honestly, it wasn't too good in the preseason, but we've managed to get a full grid for this race, so hopefully the racing is gonna be even better than last week. Also one very naughty driver getting kicked, so we're not gonna have to deal with that anymore for the actual season, and we're just gonna sit here and see what the first time on the board will be from Chichi. It was quite a shaky lap as you saw there, struggling a little bit with the rear end in sector 2, 13.1. That's definitely not gonna be anywhere near the top. We'll see if the next person to come across beats that, and I think there was a car on an outlap, but we do have a time from Unknown Prof, who I think has changed his gamer tag actually. I think he was BX Pro or something like that earlier on in the past seasons. Engine, the early top time, and very brief early top time, as you see Tom Eat. Tom Eat, keep in mind, not a full-time driver, but he will probably be in contention for the victory in this race and any other race that he chooses to enter this season. Already several times a winner here in FLR. But speaking of the actual full-time drivers and who we can see contend this season, obviously the top favorites would have to be Engine and Tom, the only former champions in this field, but you also can't overlook Rapid. I can't recall the exact stats off the top of my head, but I think he has been the runner-up in the championship at least twice, and he's surely up there in the all-time ranking of race wins in FLR. So those three that I just mentioned will be the favorites, but we'll see if someone from our regulars can make a step up in pace and keep it there for the whole season, or if we have a Rapid driver waiting to be seen among our complement of new faces. So 12 times on the board so far, only 9 of them really competitive though. We have Alex Hendrick on Intes, so obviously just checking if his equipment is working there. One of our new drivers is showing himself from the best side possible as he puts it in P3, and there we have Tom, only half a tenth off Tom Eat, so Tom having the upper hand over his probable championship rivals at this moment, but still it's not even been 6 minutes, so that doesn't really mean much. We got a Red Bull coming across. I think that's that was Ben. And Ben has, I believe, started his lap now. I don't know if the previous one was invalid or what was happening there, but we're gonna stay on board with Ben, obviously. One of the very most loyal members of ours, one of the founders, in fact, has been here since season 1. I gotta say, has barely missed any races in FLR history. Even picked up the driver of the season accolade twice during his career here, including last season actually, which was yet another season where he showed us his 100% attending rate. So we'll see what he can do as he maneuvers around this right-hander, which is supposed to be flat, but sometimes the car just gets nervous there, and you know, one moment of hesitation, one moment of caution, and it's not really a flat corner anymore in that case. But we see Ben managing himself around the track, short shifting to 4th there, taking a little bit of the curb on the left, which used to be glitched by the way. I don't think it's this anymore though. flat to the last corner, a little bit of battery to the line. I think it was really good battery management, and up to P4 for the reliable Benjamin. We also got the return of Harvey. Well, it's really is the return of everyone because it's the first race after like Christmas. But Harvey was on the fence about possibly retiring from league racing, and now he's here. So, and we have a little bit of an incident. We're gonna gloss over that. Hopefully, it doesn't result in any quarrels in the Discord or anything. But yeah, Harvey was on the fence about possibly quitting league racing, and now he's back here, which is lovely to see. And he starts actually his lap just now. Just like Ben, he's another one of the directors here at FLR. He takes that curb quite nicely, to be honest. That curb can be tricky. He's taking a wide line through sector 1, which I think might actually be the meta right now. I'm not too certain about that. But he's managing himself quite nicely, hopefully not letting the traffic that distract him. And she could have been better, also not using all of the curb on the right side of the exit. But he's keeping the car straight, and that's what matters. There's another car up there ahead of him. Obviously 20 drivers out on track, a full complement, so there's bound to be some traffic. It's a medium length track really, so not that much space for everyone to be in different spots. As you see, Harvey, a little bit of a different approach to gear usage than Ben in that corner, as you saw. Up to 5th, up to 6th, coming into the final corner, gonna be an upshift to 7, and it's gonna keep that in 7th, and that's gonna be across the line for the Ferrari. Actually, I think Harvey is driving the chassis I drove last season. I'm not sure who's the number 1 and number 2 driver, but if you are driving my chassis, please take care of it. So just to recap then, Rapid obviously improved at some point, so we have Tommy, the Rapid reserve, on top, and then the 3 favorites behind him. But Ben, Puknik, sorry by the way if I just butchered your name. I mean, I'm always open to getting corrected on that in the chat or in the Discord afterwards. If you're watching afterwards, I don't know. I'm only reacting to what I can see on screen. So Puknik, Marshall, and in a way Chichi are not that far from Rapid or Engine. So they've come out of the gate strong, and Harvey in P9, which is a little bit lower than my chassis deserves, but it's fine. It's a new season, it's a new year, it's a new pace order. And everyone, I think, managing to get in a competitive time, with the exception of Alex Hendrick, whose time I think is still on Inters, or actually maybe it was like a second outlap on softs or something, but he is setting off to make an improvement. Already saw 1.8 seconds of improvement there in sector 1 as he keeps it flat, almost completely flat through this section. Now coming down to the hairpin, hard on the brake, and he's 5.2 seconds up, so I think that's gonna be, and that's in the first 2 sectors, I think he's gonna be in the top 10 here for sure, might be at top 5. Still a lot of battery to use as well, so we'll see how he manages that through the last corner. Actually, in contrast to other drivers we've seen so far, he actually lifted off there, and instead he chose to stay with the overtake turned on, which I think could have cost him a little bit of time, but it is indeed a top 10 slot, and only a single thousandth of a second behind Chichi. Tom has invalidated. I think that could have been turn 1 or on the approach to it, and right behind him we've got Engine, who is not gonna be improving because he just did, and he's out of ERS there. Domi, another one of the new drivers here, I believe the owner of our new partners SLR, has just put himself into the top 4 in the Merc. We got Ian with a little bit of improvement, our birthday boy, and of course our ever-dependent owner. I'm not sure if I used that word correctly. Maybe let's just agree to say reliable. I'm not sure if that's the meaning that I'm thinking of, but yeah. Here we have Ian in the kick. Obviously, through engine, I think you would have to look at Ian as one of our Constructors' Championship contenders for this season, but he's also showing that he's not gonna just let engine drag him to the top. He's up in P8, which is very good if you are a second driver in your team. We also got Panda, who I think has just set a time, I believe, as well, or has just improved rather. Panda obviously also one of our regulars from season 1 as well, but we've not seen him a lot recently, so it's good to see him there on track. There's another improvement somewhere. I think that would have been BX Pro. We have Chi-Chi, who was out to... I think he might be doing a second outlap. Let's see just what he does. Obviously, the time that he's on is still the very first time that he said, "Oh no, I'm done." He's actually improved at some point. Barnas goes off track there. That's the second Ferrari, and he actually made his de facto debut last week in the preseason race, where he managed himself quite nicely. Considered that most of the people actually attending last week were front runners and upper midfield, but I think that lap is not gonna be good. It's gonna be no good. Spartan setting off. He's currently last, so he'll be looking to improve here. Let's go on board with the Red Bull. 2.5 tenths up, a little bit of a slide. Thankfully, it doesn't hit the grass and it doesn't get the car loose any more than he already did there. A little bit of battery usage. I wouldn't personally use battery there, but he does keep it. He does keep it within track limits. He does keep the car straight. In fact, not even a hint of oversteer there. But yeah, I don't think this is good battery usage personally again, but everyone has their own preference and his setup just might be made for that kind of battery usage. No problems with the rear end whatsoever, even though he was constantly on overtake. And now through the final corner, it's going to be completely out of battery, but it's going to be an improvement, and that's going to put him in P19. As you can see, essentially 14 out of the top 17 currently in the pits. So they're going to be prepping for the last run. Meanwhile, Rapid has gone off sequence. He might be doing his final run now, but he does have traffic in front of him. 3.5 tenths up for the pink Visa. He does have traffic in front of him. I think that's valuable potato. And he's not getting out of the way at all. Yeah, he's not going to get out of the way at all. I don't think he is either not seeing Rapid at all, or just he thought the distance was good enough. But it's still a half a second improvement from Rapid, but that dirtier was painful. I could see it even... I could see it even from here. I know how the dirtier is, and it's very, very bad in those particular three corners where he had it. So I think that's a major setback for Rapid. Of course, Rapid, his race pace always just as good, at least as good as his quali pace. So he's gonna be up there in the race, but that could have been more, in my opinion. We got a Red Bull, which is gonna be Spartan. And I don't know why he was pushing on that lap being 7 tenths down, but anyway. We got Marshall starting on lap, so it's gonna be the final attempt of the day for the birthday man here. Let's see what he can cook up. Hard on the brakes, a little nice bit of trail braking there. Avoiding the curb on the outside. Now he's gonna take a little bit of a tighter line than some drivers, but now he's gonna swing back to the outside actually. And I think he is taking a second outlap because no battery is being used, so that was a waste of time. Yeah, Rapid is out. I mean, there was no time to do anything more there, so the best he will get is P3. We got Domi on a lap, and he was up to sector 1. But I think someone else will be finishing the lap first. I think Spartan is on the lap there. But yeah, he's improving now, but he started this lap with very little overtake. So I don't think he will manage to improve this one. I think he just fueled a lot and just went out to do several laps just to fill the track or something. I don't know. Yeah, that's 3 turns down. There was never going to be an improvement there. Let's switch back to our birthday man who has made a mistake. Oh, actually, yeah, he was on an outlap. What am I yapping about? So there is Domi across the line. P4 for him. No time for another lap, so that's going to be the best he can do. Ben is abandoning his lap, so clearly something must have happened in the last sector. We got Barnard who is starting his lap. We got Josh who is starting his lap as well. Then we got a Visa coming up there, which I believe is going to be Chichi also starting his lap. Engine also starting his lap there as well. Alex Hendricks also starting his lap. Barnard is going to be the... Harvey also taking a second out lap there, I believe. Another McLaren starting his lap. There's a Haas in the pits, so unfortunately no better than last for Mr. Valuable Potato. But that can be a very safe position to be in. Unknown Pro also starting a lap. There we got an Alpine up next. That is Nimra. No, that's not Nimra. That was Tom Ead, I think, also starting a lap. And now we got Nimra coming up to start his lap. And I think he might be the last person to do that. We got Spartan coming across the line again, and that's not gonna be an improvement again. Meanwhile, Alex Hendrick has crashed out. We got Ian improving up to P7. We got a Merc next. We got oh my days. Puknik is gonna come across the line. Minor improvement there. 2 turns up to P6, which is completely a respectable position. We got Ice One up next. He's gonna enter the pits. We got Barnards. We'll see if that's gonna be an improvement for the Ferrari men. 2.5 turns improvement. We got a McLaren across the line. 11.9, the fastest time from Tom. Engine response. He's 43 thousandths ahead of Tom. We'll see if anyone can get there. Josh is up by a lot, but it's gonna be a lowly position because he was low anyway. Harvey comes across the line. Harvey in P15 there. We got Panda at the hairpin there. Up next is gonna be Nimra, I believe. Oh, actually, no. It's gonna be Tom Eat. Let's see if this is the pole. It's gonna be close, but it's in 11.9 flat from Tom Eat. So the top three currently within a tenth of each other. We got an Aston Martin coming across. It's gonna be Unknown Pro here. And he must have messed up in the last sector. We got a Merc, I think, or something. I don't know who that was, to be honest. But I think we might be done. Yeah, that's about it. Unless Spartan had recharged again and gone for it. But he had not. And Marshall was already out. So this is a grid. And already quite the exciting start to the season. I mean, Tom took P1, Engine immediately took P1, and then, not long afterwards, the other Tom came around and got pole by half a tenth. And Tom GoPro less than half a tenth of P2. And obviously Rapid, I believe he would have been up there, possibly in the 11th bracket without the dirty air from Valuable Potato. So we're now gonna take our customary 5-minute break, which is something we do here in FLR because yeah, so that people can chill out a little bit between quali and race. Like if they have any pre-race rituals, they can take their sweet time to do them. Some of us are also old, so we might need to go to the toilet during that break, so that is why we run it. And it's gonna be off to the races. That's a nice helmet, to be fair. So a recap then, I actually forgot that happened midway through the session. Actually quite a few incidents, but obviously speeding in the pit lane is expected. I mean, no one really cares much about it in quali. So, in case there's no formation lap again, I'm just going to quickly recap the order. It's Tom Eat, from Engine, from Tongo Pro, from Rapid, from Domi, who's going to be P10 once we go to the grid, from Pacnik, from Ian, from Chichi, from Ben, from Panda, from Rusty, from Josh, from Alex, from Unknown Pro, from Harvey, from Iceman, from Barnas, from Nimra, and Spartan and Potato will be our last row starters for this one. The Grand Prix d'Espagne, or however you actually say it properly. Tom GoPro saying there in chat he was 3 turns up in Sector 1, so I think that lap just got away from him. And in the end, it was less than a tenth of a difference to Paul. And as I said at the start, not really that easy to overtake. I mean, I would argue it's actually hard to overtake here on this game. So Tom would probably count on just making a good start or somehow just overhauling his rival's own strategy, I think, rather than just outright overtaking him. And I see people asking about strats in the chat, and I actually know the strat for this one, but I think just for like comms purposes, I'm just gonna pretend that I don't, and just gonna react with excitement to every strat I see. I think that's the best way to do it. But I do know the strat for this one. Yeah, I thought that was a good effort from you, mate. Proving to be a very good wingman for engine thus far. I'm just gonna drink some water and just prepare. So last week Ben wasn't here to host, and Ian hosted, and he decided to not put a formation up. So basically, I was thrown straight into the frantic chaos on the opening lap. Hopefully, with Ben here, that's not gonna happen again. But yeah, I have to be prepared for everything here. Anything can happen in F1, and it usually does. And this is it, the start of the formation lap. No, that's not the button. So let's just take a look at what strats our guys have decided to go for. And there are 3 different tire compounds in the top 4. Those are things we love to see. Those are things we love to see. I'm just finding out the menu. Okay, it's not very convenient, but we're gonna go through it. So I already went through the grid at the very end of quali. So we have Tom Eat on the mediums, Tom GoPro on the mediums, Puknik also in the top 5 on the mediums, so is Ian in the top 6. Then we got a chain of basically 6 cars on the mediums starting beside each other, and then Harvey is our lowest medium starter. We also have 5 hard runners, Rapid being highest in the pink Visa, and his teammate Chichi. So hopefully they've worked out their plan so that they don't meet each other in the pits, because they seem to be aiming for a similar kind of strategy. We also have Unknown Pro, Ice One, and Barnes on hards. So that is 3 cars within those 4 positions on the hards. And then I think Soft's the most interesting. We got Engine, who we know can be very good on his tires if he's focusing on that. And also our last 3 starters joining him on that softest available compound. So I think Engine's whole game plan is to just basically nail the start. He's gonna need to do it if he's to stand any chance of making this strategy work against the rapid Tom Eat. Obviously Tom Eat dominating our preseason last week. If you missed that, I think 17 seconds he won by in the end. Granted, it was kind of helped by a rogue driver dive bombing people and stuff, but yeah, he was still very fast on it. Hopefully I get some good camera, like what the hell is happening. Can I get like the overview one? Like what are we doing? Yeah, thank you. So lights are coming on and lights are going out, and we are underway. It's a good start from Engine, but it's still a good start from Tom 8, who I think is going to try to cover that. And indeed, Engine has got the inside, and I think unless it's some monstrous braking on the outside from Tom 8, I don't think he's going to be able to recover that, but it actually is monstrous braking from him, and they're going to be side by side as they go through Sector 1. There's even 3 wide further back in the midfield. Everyone seems to have stayed pretty much as they were, but Tom 8 protects the lead, and that's going to be extremely crucial. That you can see some possible race strategies there from the game. I can tell you that's bullshit. Someone is off there. We're just going to get back quickly. Who was off there? Those are Red Bull, I think, taking a trip through the gravel, and that's actually Ben, unfortunately losing a lot of places in the process. They're battling, a Ferrari losing his rear end. His teammate right behind him there. There's a McLaren. Why is the possible race strategy just constantly on my screen? Like, piss off. There was a McLaren going for a dive bomb, but we completely missed that because of AWS race strategies, so that's amazing. But it's mostly single file, especially up front. Tommy continues to lead. Obviously, Engine is going to hang onto the back of him. There's no doubt about that in those early laps with the tire advantage that he has right now. Tom GoPro running wide, so is Marshall there. That's probably early warning for those guys already. But I think Tommy did all he needed to do. I know many drivers that would have just given up in the position that he was in on the outside of turn 1. But he just braked later, went side by side with Engine and protected the lead on those mediums. Left Engine absolutely no opportunity to capitalize on his offset strategy there. See Josh quite behind Domi, and Domi has disconnected. And yeah, he has disconnected. So grid penalty and then a disconnection is not a great start for the new driver here. Ben is going to try to recover. No battles currently. Oh, actually, having said that, Ben does get past Panda. And yeah, there are overtakes on the disconnected car, which is to be expected. Yeah, the disconnected car is going to get absolutely mauled. Rapid, I think, running slightly wide. Obviously, those cars are not going to be up to temperature. We have a spin from Nimra. So Alpine is currently sandwiching the field, and that is such an easy corner. To, and we have quite a huge battle here. We're probably gonna go on board with Harvey with 100% battery, and I think he's gonna try to eat at least one of those guys down the straight, and he's looking to be quite close to Pro here. Actually, we've got a battle further up. We got Tom and Engine side by side through Sector 1. And Tom gets past his Kicksauber rival. Now we got another pair battling side by side, and those are the guys that we were with before. Chichi alongside Pro, and Chichi is victorious in that battle, but he has lost the rest of the cars ahead, which might prove not very favorable. We have another spin, this time it's Spartan. And he was off at that high-speed section. I think he was just trying to overtake a little bit too boldly. Coming through that section, I think the car just kicked out on him. And yeah, as I said, while they were lining up on the grid, Engine had one major shot to get into a favorable position with his strategy. Unfortunately, it didn't work out. And now he's gonna be dropping back softs. Not really a combat you wanna be on. Yeah, I can invite you because I don't have you. Yeah, I don't have you. So I can do that. You're gonna have to ask Ian or Ben. It's not like I can do anything. Where were we? So let's go to the... Not this. To the interval maybe, that's better. I mean, I'm checking my race net right now, and I don't have any friend requests. So yeah, my EA is GRL FLR. Well, anyway, is with a capital W. So anyway, where were we? We have the top 5 here in the DRS chain, which is good effort from Rapid to stay with these guys, given he's on hards. He does look to be running a little bit low on fuel there. And we got Tom going for the lead, so we're gonna go on both here. Engine's gonna have a front row seat to that battle, and Tom makes a move on Tom, and he's up into first. We got a spin further down. We also got Josh getting overtaken, but Alex Hendricks heading down into turn 1. Okay, I got your thingy. Now just let me... Is it not updated or something? What's your EA? Like... Oh my days. Okay. Sorry that took a while, but the invite should be there. Okay, so back to the actual racing. Hopefully Domi is gonna be able to join back there. And we still got the top 5 battle that we had before. Rapid, obviously, running a little bit low on fuel. And there's not much happening. Obviously, the overtake for the lead was happening. But I'm just gonna set another invite just in case. But now nothing is really happening. There was also a nice battle in the midfield around here, around this P10 area. But now it all seems to have calmed down. So let's remind... Oh, sorry. We got Engine in the losing position right now. Getting overtaken by Paknik. So it's a nice start from Paknik or Rakni. I mean, tell me later how you want to be called. He's getting overtaken and he's way off the top 2 now. Who, by the way, have changed places again. So it's now Tom back ahead of Tom rather than Tom being ahead of Tom. And Tom Meat, getting ahead of Tom GoPro, actually did not overuse his battery. He's sitting higher than Tom in terms of that department. So I think that's the pointer as to who has the better race pace right now. We'll see if Tom will try to retake that position. And Tommy, I think, is trying to bait him a little bit by going to none. Tom GoPro is gonna close, but he's also going to none, and it's just not, the straight is just not gonna be long enough on this occasion. Also not long enough for Engine to retake the position, not long enough for Rapid to make any kind of attempt on Engine. Marshall going slightly defensive there. I mean, yeah, Josh is just doing his normal thing of just not using literally any battery unless he absolutely needs it. But by the way, good evening, mate. Nice to see you in the chat here, in the chat there. Hope you've had a good few days. Obviously, disappointing how Sunday transpired, but there was nothing you could have done. So yeah. Engine having a little bit of a slip and slide there. Obviously those stops are gonna start giving up. I'm not even sure if you can actually one stop if you start on softs or if you use softs. But I'm sure Engine will be able to find a way. I think two stop is just, yeah, from where he is contending right now, it's just gonna be a lot different if he just two stops. It's gonna be a lot of traffic. Yeah, it was just a disappointment. I don't even understand how the game works. Like, you made the reasonable decision to like exit when you were still on the grid, and you just DNF'd magically. It wasn't really nice, but yeah. There's another weekend this week. There's another chance, as we just saw Hendrix make a move on our birthday boy, who is dropping back ever so slightly. So I think Ian, his setup is a little bit better for quali than for the race, or maybe it's okay. Now we got Chi making slight contact with Rusty Olkan as their battle there, and the Haas comes out ahead of that one. We have someone in the pits, which is, I think, Panda. This might be a two-stop. It's an early pit, but then again, I like said a lot of people might be on two stops last week, and ultimately I think like two people two stopped and everyone else one stop. So we'll see what happens with Panda. Back to the leaders. Tommy, not stressed at all, not going defensive or anything, and Tom GoPro, I think he recognizes it's a little bit too early to battle. Let's just sit in a chain, let's just conserve tires. Engine in the pits. I don't think he really had a choice. He was obviously on those softs, and we'll see what boost he puts on next. And that's gonna be the yellow mediums. And I don't want to be pessimistic or anything. I don't think that's going to the end. I think he's gone for that risky option of the two-stop. So I think he was agreeing with me that the softs, you can't really force a one-stop with the softs. So he's gonna probably do a medium hard from here, or a double medium. But he's out in P14 and with quite a few cars to overtake if he wants to get back into any sort of respectable position. Obviously all positions are respectable, but Engine, a former champion, is just not where he wants to be. Spartan unfortunately picking up a speeding penalty there. Hopefully it doesn't discourage him, hopefully he continues. We were on board with Alex Hendricks, who has similar ERS management to Josh. He's also not using absolutely anything unless he really needs to do it. I will see if Ian will be able to strike back, but I don't think it's gonna be possible, as Rapid makes a move on Paknik as well for P3. That straight is just not long enough, and Marshall's rear wing is just not thin enough. Oh, go slow! Evening! I haven't seen you since like, I don't know. I haven't seen you since like 1920. I hope all is good though. So we got the leaders here. Rapid, obviously. Yeah, it has really been ages, hasn't it? I mean, it's not great that they decided to make worse games suddenly, and now GRL is just dead and all that. But But yeah, hope everything is good apart from that. We got Pacnik fighting with Rapid here for P3. He has quite a lot of battery saved up, and he's gonna go for this. I think he's deploying. The area is wide open, and he stopped deploying, so obviously not wanna go for it there. I think it could be close to crossover point. I think the hearts are just gonna start to bite in more now, and Pacnik also becomes the first person to actually pick up a track limits time penalty. Yeah, unfortunately, I don't think it's gonna be as well. I mean, the people who still race basically have decided to put their effort into FLR here. I mean, Tom obviously, yeah, Tom is now helping here as well. He just joined staff and he's now making graphics for here as well. And I raced last season along with Spray. Now Spray's a reserve. I'm doing comms. Yeah, everything is alright, mate. I'm in like my final year of like the first stage of uni kind of thing now. So I'm gonna have exams in like a couple, like semester exams in like a couple of weeks. But yeah, it's not that easy, but I'm enjoying myself and still enjoying like the good parts of this game. Oh, so Spray still plays, yeah. I don't think he has done this year, but he drove a season with me last year. But yeah, but basically the point of this game is that it's not. It's like you get a lot more grip than F122, but it's still not very good for pads because like you have to be really careful on the steering because like tire wear is really hard this game. So like you have to be really smooth with a pad to compete with wheel. I studied geography, mate, by the way. Like the specific name is like the actual name is like more specific, but I can't really translate it from Polish right now. But yeah, I've been yapping for like 2 laps. I should probably get back on the action. So we saw a couple of pit stops there. Engine obviously going for the 2-stop, so he's now gonna have to. Yeah, I totally agree. That was like a lightning in the bottle moment. I don't think anyone is gonna top GRL season 3. I still have to move on. As we see Alex entering the pits, taking quite a lot of that green stuff on the inside there, slowing it down nicely. And he's the first of the kind of leading group to pit on the majority strategy, so I don't really expect anything other than Hars to go on here. And indeed it is the white colored boots, and away he goes. And yeah, unfortunately, even though I sent him a couple invites, Domi has not managed to get in quick enough, and I think he's now last by a lot, unfortunately, so not how his debut race could have gone. And we've got Niemra off. This could be a VSC, although the impact was not serious, so I don't think it will be. But Niemra, unfortunately, another debutant not having a dream race or anything near a dream or even a decent race. Unfortunately, he's lost his wing. I think that was his second or third spin of the evening, and he's now letting everyone by. I think he might retire, which, while we do deduct 5 points for pitting and quitting, I wouldn't really blame him in that instance. We'll see if Marshall will react to Hendricks, obviously the closest person to him on track, and Marshall, our birthday boy, is actually staying out. And as I said, as I was expecting, then Niemra in the pits, pitting and quitting. I mean, really no harm, no foul. He's just a reserve, so it's not like he's messing up his teammate's season by doing that or anything. I think it was a pretty reasonable decision anyway. NJ makes his move past Chichi. Chichi didn't really want to give that up there, but he had to. Obviously, engine much fresher tires. He also had DRS down the straight. He had overspeed. Speaking of tires, I'll just have a quick check in that department. So we got the top 5 still out on starting tires. Then we got engine, who already pitted, of course, and is on that 2-stop. And then we got another 4 cars on starting tires, and everyone else has made pit stops, and I think Hendricks, if he can manage his tires to the end here, if he can stay out of puncture territory, if he can avoid sliding, I think he's in a good position, because Marshall already, unfortunately Rusty becoming another person to pick up 10 seconds there as he makes his pit stop. And we got leaders in the pits. Leaders are in the pits. Obviously Rapid is not going to join them. Rapid is on hard, but Puknik might. So I think if they are all pitting, that would mean they were all rather close to the puncture territory. If they're all pitting at once, I think Ian is going to follow them in, and he will. We'll see if Ben also does the same. Obviously Ben's tires could have been even worse than the other guys on mediums because of his incident on lap 1. You can see how unstable his rear is there. I think those tires are short. And even Pro is pitting on hards, from hards, sorry. Even Pro is pitting from hards, so I think it's gonna be a two-stop for Pro. I mean, I don't really see mediums going longer than hards unless it's an absolute masterclass. But there he is, and he's put on mediums. Probably we'll see him again at some point in the race. And as I said, Alex Hendricks pulling off a mighty undercut. His tires are 2 laps older than Ian's, but 2 laps on hards around this track is really like not a lot, and he's gained 5, nearly 6 seconds, more in the 6-second territory on Ian actually. So a masterclass of a strategy. It will just depend if he can get these tires to the end without any issues. And now Tom Eade is gonna probably get a little bit of a help with DRS from the lapped car, which is Potato, I believe. So Tom Eade with DRS, obviously Tom is not gonna have a shot. Chichi there on a different strat. We have another spin, and it's once again in this section. Might have been involving Ben again, unfortunately. Pandas now is right on the back of him, but 7 laps of tire difference. Well, 2 is not a lot. 7 is already kind of something, so I don't think Panda's gonna be able to mount any kind of counter-attack here. I think he'll just watch Ben drive away. Although you never quite know. Unknown Pro picks up a 3-second time penalty, and just a little note for this track. I do believe there are maybe like 2 glitch corners where it can give you double warnings. So I'm gonna take these 3 seconds with a pinch of salt for the time being. And now the leaders have cleared the Haas, so we'll see if Tom GoPro will be able to mount an attack this time. Using overtakes, obviously he's trying to stay as close as he can. DRS wide open, he's burying battery, he's still burying battery, so he's made up his mind that he's gonna go for this here. Goes to the inside, just not close enough, the straight was just not long enough. Tommy also deployed a little bit, I could see there, just to ward off that threat. Tommy taking a lot of that curb, and that is why he's the net leader. They are now coming up on Engine, who's obviously on that weird like offset 2-stop. And he's just focusing on running the fastest race that he can, so I don't think he's gonna put up a lot of defending. Mounting the sausage curb a little bit as well. We'll just have a quick run through the field to see if there's anything interesting happening. We got a battle for P18. Domi is back in. Unfortunately, that disconnection cost him a lot. I think he was out for like a good 9 or 10 laps, possibly. But he's continuing on. Spartan also continuing on. So it's good to see that people continue on with the race, even despite setbacks. Just really tells you a lot about their character. We got Josh on the back of Alex Hendricks, so the battle of the 2 ERS savers, and you can see the Tom Eade and Tom GoPro both making their way past Engine. And obviously no contest, or actually there is a bit of contest from those old mediums. I didn't expect that. There was a good try from Engine, but they're so true really there. not much happening elsewhere. Engine is gonna be looking to make his second stop, possibly in the next 4 laps or around that area. You could see him struggling a little bit there. Obviously, dirty air would have played a part in that, but I think those tires are past their best now. And also, one thing of interest is when do these visas on their starting hards come in? Obviously, if Rapid makes the call, Chichi... Well, actually Chichi is like a good 16 seconds behind or so. Actually, let's see it for sure. So yeah, Chichi is 16 seconds behind, so scratch that. They can pit on the same lap and it won't really matter. It's not close enough for a double stack to mess Chichi up. And speaking of Chichi, he decides to not risk the double stack after all. He enters the pits and is gonna be putting on those yellow colored boots for his last stint, and we'll see where he's gonna come out. Obviously he's gonna have a tire advantage, but still you have to make those tires work and make all those passes by your own merit. So there is Chichi out of the box, and we see an interesting shot of a Visa Mechanic's crotch. That was very necessary. Chichi is coming out. It's gonna be close with the Aston Martin of Unknown Pro, but Pro just clearly ahead there, and Chichi in P11. As I said, massive advantage in terms of tire age though. So this should be hunting season now for Chichi. He should be able to make short work of Unknown Pro once they get to a DRS zone, and then he'll see what he can do up from there. We got Rapid in the pits, so there is the final person to make a pit stop. 1 lap after his teammate, we've got a yellow flag, which I think is the lap car of Spartan having a little bit of a loosey-goosey moment. And we got I think that's Domi there, so I think actually the lap cars of Spartan, Rusty and Domi are all quite close with one another, and the leaders are now just about in the same area of the track there. And getting a little bit of helpful DRS in the case of Paknik. Rapid actually well placed on this strategy. He comes out just in front of the battle of Alex Hendrick and Josh J's Gaming, and there's just gonna be no way for them to trouble him. He's gonna be out of DRS, maybe, because I think he just ran off track there. Cold tires possibly. But he should be out of DRS comfortably by the time they get to this zone on this backstretch. And then he, just like his teammate, he should be hunting ahead. Especially seeing as Engine and Paknik both have time penalties. So surely Rapid has to be looking at the podium here. Let's actually have a look at the pens. Yeah. It's 3 seconds for Engine, Paknik, Pro, Valuable Potato, and then speeding penalties for Spartan and Rusty. As we see Engine come in for his second stop. It's gonna be either hards or a second set of mediums, depending on what allocation he went for. Tongo Prof, as we saw, set the fastest lap on that tour, but he just can't break the defense of the other Tom in the Alpine ahead of him. So the reserve remains out in front. Engine onto another set of mediums, so clearly on the softer allocation there. As we see, Rapid make up that position. These guys remained as they were, and Engine is gonna come out just in front of his teammates, so that actually worked out perfectly there. Iceman picks up a penalty, so he adds himself to that list of people with penalties. Cap to the leader, nothing interesting really there. Fastest laps, you can see how fast the top 4 have been really. And obviously Engine, but the Engine is on that offset strategy. As fast of a driver as he is, he will not be able to make up that time deficit to the lead. It will, barring a safety car or something happening between these two, it's gonna be a Tom versus Tom show for the victory. But Tom GoPro is running out of options here. It appears that Tom is just faster, even though Tom GoPro has DRS. He just does not seem to be able to save up enough battery, just does not seem to be able to stay close enough through the banked final corner to mount an attack really, or a convincing one at least. Harvey in the pits, so that is a two-stop for the Ferrari driver. Or the Ferrari driver for this evening, because he is a reserve. I will see what he will be taking for his final stint, so a few people committing to the two-stop here. A little bit of a hold-up, it looked like could have been luck, but it's mediums on the prancing horse, and the horse is away. We've got Engine here. On the prowl, has already worked his way through Josh. This should be an easy move on Alex Hendricks. Obviously, as you can see, Alex Hendricks, by his battery, he knows that Engine is not his battle. I think he is not going to make this difficult at all. But obviously, if you're Engine, even with the tire advantage, you just want to stay behind here for the DRS, which can be awkward at times because you lose time, but like you're gonna gain back that time later because you're not fighting with the other person as much if you just wait for DRS in a section like that. And this should be the move done. Actually, Alex Hendricks, contrary to what I said, he's gonna be on that button and he's gonna try and defend, but Engine is gonna make this move clearly. I mean, there was no chance for Alex to stay alongside in the braking zone. Ben is off again. Unfortunately, Ben struggling this evening. He had a really nice qualifying, but then ever since that incident on lap 1, it just seems like it's been unraveling. He's still in P12 though, so very respectable points still on offer if he can keep control of that car going forward. And Mr. Verbal Potato, another two-stopper, and unfortunately becoming the third person to pick up 10 seconds. Tom Prof saving up quite a bit of battery for the straight this time around. And we're gonna try to take another jab at the race leader. Tommy again, just a little bit more battery, and Tom GoPro is gonna just let that one go. He's gonna just recharge some more. 8 laps to go, so the chances are running out, but he still has a few to go. And he's very experienced, is Tom GoPro, so he knows that. Engine with the fastest lap. There's Chechi was off, I think, this time to that plateau section, and he could have been challenged by Unknown Pro, but Unknown Pro, probably seeing his tire where he just knows that he was gonna run into the puncture territory. Into the pits we go. It's gonna be probably another set of mediums, and it's gonna be to the end of the race. And it's an Aston Martin double stack, so we're gonna stay on board here with Ice One to see if he gets held up here, and he was getting held up there, but just a little bit, and the pit crew gets to work, so he doesn't lose as much time as he could have by pitting on the same lap as his teammate. The leaders continuing to stay close on each other, but Tommy is just holding Tom off lap after lap by managing his battery and exits perfectly. This could be a fun little scrap between two directors of FLR. Harvey against Wells Benjamin. Obviously there is a significant tire advantage for Harvey here, but still he has to do the job correctly. He has to stay in the dirty air coming out of the last corner. And it seems like he's set up this move nicely. Now he just needs to keep it as close to flat as possible, actually keeping it flat completely. Nice job from Harvey there. And he's gonna close and close and close and close on Benjamin. It's not gonna be close enough. Benjamin probably running a thin rear wing. Harvey just couldn't really even get a sniff in the braking zone, but he's gonna try to do it in this high-speed section. Still no opportunity there. Barnett picks up a penalty in the other Ferrari. And yeah, actually Ben surviving that time around, despite the tire advantage. And Tongo Prof, and actually this time that it happened, I missed that. Or rather I caught the end of it, but we have Tongo Prof in the lead ahead of Tom Eat. 7 laps to go, so getting into crunch time territory now. As you can see from Tom Eat, immediately trying to re-challenge. Unfortunately this view is not very nice, but I couldn't have done more. Josh actually making a late call to actually go for a two-stop, so I think the tires were not tiring for him anymore, and he's gonna opt for the two-stop and go to softs actually, so that's gonna be an interesting finish to the race for Josh Jazz Gaming. Meanwhile, his teammate is out in front. Once again, it's the Tom versus Tom show here, as we saw in the preseason, although the preseason featured a few more people with them. Tommy just having a little look, but I don't think it was anything serious. I think he knows that the best passing opportunity is on this main straight. He has about twice as much ERS as Tom Go Prof. He's gonna try to stick close behind, and Harvey makes a move on Ben also for P10. Tommy stayed really close to Tongo Prof, and there's gonna be no contest from Tongo Prof, and Tongo Prof completely knows that. He immediately went to none. He's just gonna live to fight another lap. 6 laps to go now, as these two cross the line and start lap 28. Rapid is getting close to Packnick, and actually those mediums not working as well as I thought they might. So he's gonna have to work a little bit to get inside that penalty, and even then that could still be getting removed. So ideally, he needs to make this move on track, but 5.2 seconds in 6 laps, plus an overtake. That's gonna take some skill, which we know Rapid has. Tommy is in his element right now. You could see that he was trending to set his new personal best lap of the race, and he's pulling just that little bit of a gap on Tongo Prof to this section. Tongo Prof now closing again, but I think this is too far behind to really go for a challenge. We are now in the closing stages. This race has flown by with how the racing's been. I mean, to be honest, we've not seen that much racing, as I warned you at the start. Because of the dirty air on this game, we couldn't really see that much racing, but I think there's still been some fair excitement purely because of how many different strategies that they were. We immediately saw at the start with the top 4, with all 3 tire compounds present in the top 4. We saw that it was going to be a race of varying strategies. Rapid, valiantly trying to close on Packnick, and as we are now, and he actually clips a little bit of gas there, just has to do a slight correction. That's not going to be great for him, and Packnick might still get onto that podium, but as we are now getting into the very closing stages of the race, I'm gonna start to be looking for my driver of the day, possibly. Okay, it's position change. So let's look at position changes. Obviously not final. Some people are still on their. Some people basically are still on stints, which they are still making the best of because they have a massive tire advantage, especially looking at Josh, Harvey and Rapid in that context. But yeah, so far, Alex Hendricks looking really good. Obviously crashed in quali on his last attempt to set a lap, so he didn't really set a representative lap. And he has showed what his pace really is in this race, making up 7 places so far. He's had some fair few battles as well with Josh, with Ian, a couple other people that he overtook. So Alex Hendricks really impressing me on his debut here in FLR. Same must be said about Packnick. Very clean race, absolutely no blemishes, no dodgy incidents or anything, nothing at all. Just a cleanly executed race. He knew what strategy he had to go for. He stayed in the train as long as he could, just made the most of it. And he might pick up a podium yet, although now Rapid is inside that 3-second window of him. So we'll see what happens to that penalty. And let's go back to the tires. It's really now crunch time for the two Toms. The Tom versus Tom show at the head of the field. Tommy having the slightest, really just the slightest of wobbles there. on that exit, and Tom GoPro trying to put him under pressure, just trying to crawl ever so closer to this high-speed section. He's gonna have 2 more passing opportunities, well, 2 more major passing opportunities. Obviously, if you really nail an exit, you can send one up the inside, down the backstretch, as we already proved in another league. But you really need to nail that exit, and I think with equal tires, that's gonna be quite the task. So Tom is just hanging on. He's coming up to his penultimate major overtaking chance here. But Tom Eat, basically it's been the story of the race. Tom Eat just always having that little bit more battery in reserve. Once again, this is the Tom and Tom show here in FLR. Here comes Tom GoPro. Down the straight. Is he using his battery? He is using his battery. Tom Eat also using to defend. Now they are about equal. Tom GoPro just trying to sniff the inside, but he was just not gonna be alongside under braking. And only one major overtaking opportunity remains. Actually, this is the closest battle right now out on track, which is fitting. These are the positions that you want to have the closest battle for. We're gonna stay on board with the 2-time champion, going for the three-peat this season. Or for a third title, anyway. They are not consecutive. I think he has been champion of season 2 and season 4, I believe. Something like that. So it's been a couple years since Tom has won the title here. But given that the driver ahead of him is a reserve, he might be getting off to the best possible start in that chase for this third title. No one has ever won a third title in this league yet. Actually, myself and Tom are the only people to have 2 titles. But anyway, the Tom and Tom show final act is upon us now. Tom GoPro is gaining, he's really gaining. He's gonna go for the outside this time because Tom Eat was angling to the inside. Tom Eat brakes late, but has gone a little bit too deep. Tom GoPro is gonna try to force it down the inside, but Tom Eat is just ahead. He's flashing now. I think he's trying to save up a little bit, and Tom GoPro just has a stop. He just had a snap in the dirty air. I think that it is over, unless Tom Eat makes a mistake. It's his race to lose now. Tom GoPro just giving it absolutely everything. He just had that little snap in dirty air there through that high-speed section. I don't think he is gonna be able to respond again. I think this once again is gonna go Tom Eat's way. Although this week obviously he was run much closer than in preseason, and no DRS for Tom. Down the backstretch, Tom Eat leads by 1.1 seconds. He just needs to navigate a few more corners, and he's gonna be taking the first race of season 9. Tom is gonna be obviously disappointed on the day, but he is gonna be the de facto championship leader heading out of this one. Tom Eat out of the last corner. It's Viva Alpine. It's victory for the Alpine drivers. For the Alpine driver here at Circuit Barcelona de Catalunya. Tom Eat takes the Spanish Grand Prix. Pacnik out on track. He's gonna take P3. Rapid is gonna take that for the time being. Engine is gonna come home in P5. Alex Hendricks in the end, managing those tires to the end. And he's gonna pick up 6th place from P13 on the grid. Followed closely behind by the birthday boy P7 for Ian. And I think I'm gonna have to go with Ian for driver of the day. The field is very competitive, and Ian on his birthday, on this opening race of the new season, he has shown that he belongs here, and he belongs closer to the pointy end of the field than we might have seen from him last season. Started P6, finished P7. I think Ian is going to be my driver of the day. Harvey comes home in P10, obviously benefiting from that penalty from Unknown Pro. Ben holds on for P12, and actually P14 down. Everyone got lapped. So Iceborne is going to be the final person we're going to see across the line, and he's going to take that P13 finish here. So obviously quite the fast-paced race, a lot of things happened. All in all, good impressions all around. Everyone I think showing their best. One retirement, one unfortunate disconnection, which knocked Domi out of any kind of upper midfield contention, let alone front running contention. Should be back stronger in future races though. As we see the podium celebration. And driver today from the game goes to Alex Hendricks, which is fair enough. He's also the cleanest driver, but my driver today is going to Ian. So the final order then: Tom Eat the winner, Tongo Prof in second, Rapid in P3, Packnick in P4, Engine in P5 with the fastest lap, but obviously not the start that he would have wanted. Alex Hendricks in P6, the second highest of the debutants. Ian in P7, as I said, is driver of the day for me. Chichi P8, Josh P9, Harvey P10, Unknown Pro P11, Ben P12, Ice1 P13, Balance P14, Panda P5, P15, Potato in P16, Domi in P17 after the disconnection, Rusty in P18, Spartan the final finisher, and Nimrod the only retirement. It was a pit and quit, just in case anyone needs this. And that is it for the Season 9 Open. And actually Tom Eat and Spartan, the only people who stayed in their grid positions until the end of the race. So still was quite a bit of shuffling, quite a bit of excitement, even despite my less than optimistic prediction at the start that overtaking is difficult. It was not difficult for Alex Hendricks. That's all I will say. And that's gonna be it. And next week, we are going to Vegas. So yeah, I'm gonna catch you there next time.